Hello everyone, I'm Forrest McFreelava, and this is Speedplay Stellaris as France number 7. We left off building up our navy now with destroyers, which are significantly more expensive but hopefully also much better than corvettes. A while ago they changed the balancing around. Corvettes used to be just incredibly overpowered. Now they are perhaps not so much. And at any rate, we have only a couple empires equivalent to us in strength. Unfortunately, they are the empires bordering us most closely. So we're going to have to go through them before we can get to the others. And I'm probably going to aim ourselves more at Terminus Invictus than anyone else, simply because I don't want to have them just behind us, roving around and being threatening. Once we deal with that, deal with all the issues at our rear, we'll be able to focus over and just go take over all those weak territories up to the, space north, more or less, of us. Until then, though, we go ahead and just continue researching, unlocking new worlds for colonization. Hopefully, as we get more peoples into our empire, we'll be able to unlock more worlds to fully colonize. We also do have droids now, so we can just colonize things with droids and do perfectly well with that. Although, as always, we have a very real risk of not having enough influence to actually manage to colonize as quickly as we would like and need to. Which means, instead of doing that, and we also have dangerous pop factions, which are just the slaves, always trying to escape, although we are more or less okay with that, since it gets people who aren't happy with our rule out of our territory, and kind of helps us as much as anything else. We do go ahead and free a couple people who are more or less okay with our rule, and hopefully we'll be able to just upgrade the power plants they're at. We are getting just a constant negative for our power plants based on being an empire, which I'm not actually sure when they added that, because that is something new, different, and not at all pleasing. At any rate, though, we do go ahead and just continue to gather our navy. We have a terrible energy deficit, so we only have something like 20 months of ability to fight, so hopefully we'll be able to draw the war to a close relatively quickly. We do go ahead and just pull our forces over, and it looks as though we will have a fleet of something like almost 6,000 strength. Now we do keep going. I double check really quickly to see if they will still trade with us. They will not, and that is a terrible issue. They are also still equivalent to us. However, we've had decent luck against equivalent enemies so far, so we're going to go ahead and try it, see what we're able to do, see if we're able to win. We do go ahead and declare the war. Our fleet is standing ready. We do move our robotic soldiers forward, and we bring our forces up, just begin attacking everything around them, mainly their installations and spaceports and whatnot. And it looks as though we'll be able to clear that out fairly quickly. Unfortunately, it looks as though they're pulling their forces over to our advanced planet and just kind of bringing themselves over towards us. They are also bringing their fleet, 3.7 thousand strength, over towards our core worlds, even Earth. They are bringing their fleet to Earth right now. One of our science ships cannot retreat. It's destroyed. One of our small fleets manages, unfortunately, to get intercepted. And, so they brought the war to our homeworld, something that has not happened ever previously. They haven't yet bombarded the surface of the planet, so that is good, but they knocked our orbital installations out of the sky. We distract their fire by building and unbuilding spaceports. I'm not sure if you could probably argue that that is pretty cheap, but hey, the game lets us do it, and they just edited a whole lot of things they didn't think were legitimate, so hey, who's to say? At any rate, though, we are hemorrhaging fleet power, something just terrible and very worrying. It looks as though our shields aren't even being affected. Their shields are being affected, but they're not losing strength. Our shields aren't being affected, but we are hemorrhaging strength. However, now that we're in close combat, we managed to just destroy them. We took significant casualties. Our fleet is almost half the strength it was previously. Meanwhile, they're signing non-aggression pacts up in our north, which is a little bit worrying if our enemies are uniting as we find ourselves weaker, then that is a very potentially dangerous position for us to be in. So yes, that is not entirely ideal whatsoever. We go ahead and shuffle leadership around, and we did in fact still lose that scientist who was in the wrong place at the wrong time. We go ahead and merge these two elements of our fleet and begin to charge up, and we do just hopefully we'll be able to bring our robotic armies over to that planet, hopefully land on their world. It is their capital world, so it'll be doing quite a bit of damage to them. Hopefully their fleet isn't out ravaging our home worlds and whatnot at this point, although it could very well potentially be. Alright, so back in their home system, we're doing decently well. We're building up destroyers everywhere to make up for the losses to our fleet, and hopefully we'll be able to land on their home world, get that resolved relatively quickly, and more or less get this to a decent spot. We do go ahead and full bombard the world, hopefully knocking down their defenses relatively quickly. We also do have another smaller fleet over in the area, and they brought the war to our capital. We admittedly brought the war to theirs as well. Hopefully we will have more staying power than them. We are in the process of invading their homeworld, just destroying their armies, thank you to our robotic legions. And there we go, we have captured their homeworld. We are 25% of the way towards winning the war after that, which is considerably less than I would have suspected or really been at all happy to hear. Then in right there, we're going to destroy their wormhole field generator thing, build up more ships wherever we're able to. We are no longer in an energy deficit. That is one of the upsides of losing half your navy in a massive battle. So that's good. And we have made a new contact, which is interesting. They don't seem to terribly hate us right now, which is good. We can research cloud lightning, which we do go ahead and begin to do. And we can also just go ahead and attack this additional just facility of theirs. It looks like their fleet has come back to their homeworld, which is worrying. We try to get our science ship out. Hopefully we won't get another loss in our science just crews, basically. And a lot is going on right now. Mainly our forces are just gunning forward. Hopefully we'll be able to take over this other world. We'll probably lose everything in their homeworld, but we do control it right now, so that's not too terrible. It'll probably stay in our control. Oh, never mind, I don't believe it is. We dropped to 6% war score, and that's probably an artifact of them taking back their world. And just more building up our navy. We have almost 1,000 in reserves now, or reserve forces now, and we're going to be taking over this side world. And also just kind of continuing research, doing all that various stuff. It's not really the most important at this point. We do go ahead and land our robotic legions on this other major world of theirs, hopefully destroying their armies and just clearing the place out. More destroyer production everywhere, gargantuan forges, all things like that. There we go, their armies have all broken. We have control over their world. We're going back to their capital, and hopefully we will be able to take that back relatively easily since they've lost basically most of their forces there, I would presume. They have a small land army trying to retreat. Unfortunately, our robotic infantry, our robotic legions were not there at the right time. They did not leave with our fleet, and our robotic legions were destroyed. So that's far less than ideal. We go and run and chase them down, however they are already evacuating. And our one massive fleet just being used as a hammer against enemies everywhere is proving to be significantly less effective at this point, quite frankly. We do go ahead and merge our fleets. They do have their armies. We're going to try to intercept and destroy them as they destroyed ours. Theirs is much smaller than ours, however, it's still something we can do. And there we go. So now we're not the only one without a land army. Alright. So that was kind of awful, definitely sad, definitely hindered our ability to fight the wars as quickly as we would like. We do, however, still have our regular French army, which is just made up of actual people of our initial main and most important race. So that's admittedly very risky that we've brought them into the field and could be risking their lives right now. We do go ahead and send an actual French invasion of their capital world. go ahead and reunite the fleets, getting us pretty similar to the power we were at in the beginning of the war. We leave the army on their homeworld, and at this point we're going to just have to be chasing down their fleets. They can't be allowed to have fleets like they do. They can't be allowed to have wormhole stations like they have. Their ability to just move their forces around is just very detrimental to us. They do have another fleet, rather powerful, already back at their homeworld. Luckily, our fleet lands in the same spot. We have more or less intercepted them. We begin to build destroyers, if we haven't been already, since we're definitely going to take some heavy losses in this battle. And heavy losses we most certainly have taken. We also do go ahead and, well, just absorb these losses. It is not at all anywhere near good. However, at this point, we are doing damage to them. Once their shields disappear, we are able to do decently well. Unfortunately, our fleet decides to target a smaller left fleet. Luckily, we destroy that and then destroy their initial fleet again. They apparently have bigger capital ships than we can build. Our fleet is almost entirely in ruins. We're going to leave it right here for now. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hopefully we can pull this together tomorrow or Monday.